And I'd like you to just, for a moment, just imagine it's Monday morning, 6 a.m. Your alarm clock goes off. So what do? Do you jump out of bed, eager to get to work? Or are you more of a snooze and crawl back under the covers type of person? If you do snooze and crawl back under the covers, then maybe you're not so keen to get to work. Who here loves going to work? Yay, we've got some in the room. Me too. But I do realise that this is not the case for everybody. Sadly, the cost of disengagement is a huge problem, and a recent survey showed that approximately 87% of Australians are disengaged. It's costing the Australian and New Zealand economies over $70 billion a year. So if this isn't you, then you probably know somebody like that. So for them, I'd highly recommend them to read 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins to help them jump out of bed in the morning. It's guaranteed for even those who are not morning people. But imagine that 87%, that's almost 9 out of every 10 people in this room. It's pretty huge, yeah? But imagine loving going to work because you can truly make a difference and not just to the bottom line of the company. So, good morning, I'm Kirsty Scott. I lead the Greater Asia Customer Experience team for sales operations at HP. I'm really proud today to stand here and talk to you about what we do at HP. As you would have gathered from the video, that's HP Print and Personal Systems, not enterprise as we're often confused. We're a global leader in the technology space, certainly not a new kid on the block, and somewhat of an icon in the technology industry with over 80 years of history. You can see here that we're not small, almost $59 billion in revenue. There's a lot of us with around 55,000 employees. And we're present in 170 countries. And just for perspective, the UN registers 195 countries globally. Recently, we were awarded as one of the most ethical companies in the world for 2020. This is something I'm particularly proud of because it's an honour that goes through rigorous assessment to validate that we are following the HP way and that in everything that we do, we're leading in that way. So I wanted to talk to you about what we do at HP. So HP aims to create technology to make life better for everyone, everywhere. By engineering experiences that amaze, we deliver life-enriching, world-changing solutions at every turn. We also believe that the ultimate power of our success has been and always will be the power of our people. HP considers its diverse and inclusive global community to be one of our greatest strengths. So, sales enablement, is about process, tools, technology, and people. And this is where I want to share today our story of what we do. So people are at the core of our and every organisation. In order to be successful, you need highly engaged people. And if you do succeed without that, then I would challenge that there's probably a cost or an impact on the human experience. Our experience at HP focuses beyond the numbers. And like many companies today, we're on a digital transformation journey. So digital, for me, is all about experience. Experience is about empathy, emotions, and people. So we design all of our products with people and experience at the centre. And this focus has also enabled us recently to redesign our company to become an experience-focused company. Here in ANZ, it's our mission and purpose as a team to make life better. So we're constantly asking, how do we make life better, or does this make life better? And in the global challenging situation that we see today, this is particularly important. So I mentioned before the HP way. So we have a core set of values that have been in place for many years. So we've got over 80 years of history, and these values were set in place by our founders in 1939 in this very garage, which you can now find in a museum in Palo Alto. The company was founded, I think, with around about $539 as funding, and we've grown to where we are today. So I'll just pick out a couple of these values that, for me, really resonate. Obviously, they're all very important, and we lead with them every day. But in line with what I'm going to talk about today, I believe that teamwork results through teamwork. So we believe that we can deliver better on our commitments and grow through focusing on teamwork and the different perspectives that everybody can bring in their contributions together. We also drive meaningful innovation, and we found that all of our innovation comes from our internal teams, and that's enhanced by the diversity that we have across our organisation. And while that encourages us to think ahead and build for the future, we continue to focus on the customers, partners, and communities that allow us to serve and we deliver to them in the future. So I mentioned that I'm leading this Greater Asia sales operations team. I kind of have two jobs, unfortunate. And I'm also the sales ops liaison for ANZ, and I'm a member of the ANZ leadership team. So in my current roles, I'm really fortunate to be working with two amazing leaders at HP who both fully believe that their main focus is to ensure the growth, development and success of everybody around them. So the ANZ leadership team over the last year, we're kind of quite newly formed with a new MD just after I joined 18 months ago. We've been the fortunate recipients of some leadership coaching, and as a result of which we have adopted some regular practices that we build into our everyday routines to ensure that we're focusing on our people and continue to driving our engagement across the organisation. So I will just take you through some of these. So one of the things that we all agreed is so important is to know your team. And that's not just knowing their name, it's knowing what they do, what they like, what do they do on the weekend, what are their children's names, and also beyond that, the teams that sit around you. As a member in the leadership team, we kind of make it our role to know everybody's name and to connect with people as much as we can. Walk the floor. We all like to be seen to be present and visible. And so when we're either in the office that we're in on a daily basis or whether we are visiting another office, we all make it our job to walk the floor, to connect and check in and just make sure people know where they are in case they need to come and see us about anything. The Rhodes office actually has a nice loop, which is really good for getting my steps up on a daily basis. Sorry, I hit the button I wasn't supposed to. Thank you. Okay. Feedback. I love this one. So feedback is such a gift, but it's not just about blurting out something to somebody. As leaders, it's so important for us to know how to give that feedback. Everybody receives feedback in a very different way. Men and women, for example, receive feedback very differently. You can say the same sentence, a woman will hear something very different to a man. So as leaders, it's very important that we ensure that we know our teams and we can give that feedback that's right for that person to ensure their growth and development. The first 20 minutes. So this is something that the coach brought to us. So the first 20 minutes is about connecting and checking in. Just by asking somebody how they are, you can give them an opportunity to share something with you, to offload if they need to. And it can't always be 20 minutes, but I always make it a priority to, in all my meetings, to check in with people, especially my team, to make sure how they're going. And I can share with you a couple of stories with this. So through the leadership team, practicing this, we've gained from it both in and out of the workplace. One of my colleagues his son had recently started school, and he made it a regular practice that when he got home at night to spend that first 20 minutes or however long it took with his son. And through doing that, he uncovered that his son had a learning difficulty and he needed some extra help. We had another colleague who he had a teenage son, couldn't connect with him, never wanted to talk to him. He was always gaming, probably on an HP device that he'd bought for him. So he said to the coach, "What do I do? My son, I can't talk to him, he's not interested." He said, "Well, what do you do when you go home? How do you connect?" He said, "What do you do?" He said, "Well, when I go home, the first thing I do is I go to the fridge, I grab a beer and I get showered and changed." He said, "Well, where's the opportunity to connect? I want you to stand at the door of his room, wherever he is, and speak to him." So he did, and he got a few grunts the first few days, and as time went on, it changed. He'd take his headphones off, he talked with him, to now, when he hears the key go in the door, he's off the PC, the headphones are off, and they're there connecting, both as each is eager to hear about one another's day. Higher value thinking. This is really important to allow people to have that time to either work on solving some issues and some challenges that we may have, or to see what's next for them in their career progression. In order to do that, we need to release some of their lower value activities from them. So either they can maybe move to another team and they become their higher value thinking, or perhaps we've got the opportunity to drop something that doesn't need to be done anymore, or maybe automate through some sort of robotics process. But this allows people, and it's really important that they create the time to do this so that they can see potentially what's next for them in their journey, or they can solve some of the bigger problems. And lastly, engagement. It's all about having fun, because if you're not having fun, then what have you got? Oops, he says, sorry. Okay, so you've got a bit of an insight to our culture, our purpose, and through that, we lead with cooperation and collaboration. And I was really pleased when I recently read a survey on company culture that said around collaboration, when companies exercise this value, their employees are cohesive and productive within their group and across teams. And it labelled HP as a standout in this area. So I'm going to talk to you now about some of the things that we actually do at HP to drive our engagement, and some of the things that I've been fortunate enough to participate in. So last year, I travelled to Cambodia to meet the rest of the sales ops leadership team. The purpose was twofold. So we were there to do the regular reviews, catch-ups, KPIs, and to plan for the new financial year that was coming upon us very soon. And we were also there to do some good. My boss is French, and some of you may be aware that France and Cambodia have had a long history since the 1800s, when they kindly intervened to help Cambodia fend off some unwanted attention from their neighbours. On the final day of the trip, we were given an amazing opportunity to give back. We visited Tabrok School, which is in rural Cambodia, and we went to perform some activities with children there. On the journey to on the journey to the school, we're all sitting there. We had leave quite early with our packed lunches that were packed up by the hotel, going through the lush green lands to eventually getting down to single track roads. When we arrived, the school was really busy. In spite of it being school holidays, these children had come to school that day. On seeing 12 people arrive who they hadn't seen before, they're all very quiet, but they were all really pleased to see us there. Because in Cambodia, education by families isn't always a priority. Many children are required to stay at home or to help work on the land. And the Cambodian government fortunately recognised the importance of education, and this was a problem. And so they've implemented a programme to provide cooked meals for all those students attending schools. And last year, over 260,000 students benefited from this programme. So I think it's a success. The children in this school sit in classrooms which are hot, dirty and dusty. Supplies are really limited, and often even the chairs are not functional, with the seat of the chair not being attached to the frame or the back, things that our children just simply wouldn't have to put up with. Yet these children were so happy. They had so little. Some of them actually attend school in shifts because there might not be enough money in the family for each child to have a school uniform. And it really, really was a privilege to work with these children. We performed some craft activities with them, which was good fun. And then we helped to cook lunch and we ate with them. So lunch was rice, which they ate in abundance. I'm amazed at how much rice these children could put away. And there was a tom yum soup with prawns. I realised when I was in the classroom with the children, communication was interesting because they didn't really speak English, but they'd never had a prawn fully in its shell before. So I spent my lunch shelling prawns for most of these children. The school, as it says here, has 250 students and only 4 classrooms. So the sales operations team entered an internal competition where we created a video of our trip and our vision and how we wanted to support the school. And we were lucky enough to win, and we've secured $10,000 in funding, which we're donating back to the school so that they can build their 5th classroom. So this was a classroom. As you can see, it's seen better days. The roof's not really watertight. So we will be using that funding to rebuild the classroom as an IT learning lab. And we are also going to be supplying PCs and printers to the school. And virus situation permitting, I really hope to go back this year to help with this effort. In November last year, my son and I, with some of my team, spent a Saturday afternoon evening at Central Station, and we had no intention of catching a train that evening. From 7 o'clock for an hour and a half or so that evening, we served over 120 people. There was 15 kilos of white rice, 20 kilos of curry, a huge amount of bread rolls, cans of Coke, various other drinks, and then tins of beans, tuna, and clothing for people to take away if they required. So why were we there? So these people, some of them are homeless, some are living in hostels or on sofas of friends. They were a range of ages, but many of them were not young. So I think we're seeing a problem here in Australia where there's people who, as they're aging, they're maybe not kept their skills relevant and they're finding themselves out of the workplace. And with the ever-increasing housing costs here, they then find themselves with a roof over their head. So we spent this time this evening serving these people, most of them very polite. We had some laughs. But then once the food was gone, we packed and we cleaned up, and I was walking back to the car with my son. And I think for him, this was really when the realisation set in. We saw many of the people we'd just been chatting to earlier, bedding down in shop doorways and seeking shelter for the evening. So for him, that was the point when it dawned on him that actually these people had nowhere to call home. He's only 11, and like probably most of our children here, he leads a very fortunate life. So we both agreed that this had been a really rewarding couple of hours, and I'm actually going back with a group from the broader HP community in a few weeks to do again. And if anybody's interested, I'd love to share with you all how we got involved with this. It really was rewarding. It's so little of our time, and to make such a difference. 120 people did not go to sleep hungry that night. So that's some of the things we've done out of work. But we also, HP, are really big on looking after our HP family, as we call it, and our extended family, and potentially our future. So every year, most of our larger offices globally host a Take Our Kids to Work Day. So on this day, if you come to the office, you have to roll up your sleeves, help out, and most of all, have some fun. So last October, in the office here in Sydney, we hosted 120 kids in the office that day. To say it was chaotic was probably a bit of an understatement, but the walls were filled with fun and laughter and just lots of new friendships being formed. On the top left photo here, you can see my youngest son, Rocco, with his new best buddy, also Rocco, and also 4 years of age. So what are the chances of that? They had the best day ever. So the day was packed full of activities for all the kids. It was a result of weeks of planning from a team internally. Every kid had their own agenda, which was packed from yoga to VR, AR, gaming, cake decorating, craft. There was a Mr. Whippy van that rocked up, and I think the day finished off with a movie and popcorn. So that evening, I can assure you, I was exhausted. I'd well and truly smashed my 10,000 steps for the day, and I was really happy to put my feet up. My boys, on the other hand, now think I have the best job in the world. Trust me, I do not do this all day long. And they can't wait to come back. They were asking on the Monday morning, to which they were given a firm no. But, also as well, especially my older son, he's like, I want to work for HP when I grow up. There we go. So, for me, that really is a good outcome. I talked earlier about engagement. So one of the things as a leadership team, we are making it our mission to make life better. That extends to our customers, our partners, and most of all to our employees. We're really trying to make life better within the workplace as well. And last year we saw, I said we had a new MD and quite a few members to our leadership team. We had an amazing 6-point increase in our engagement score, taking it to 75%. I'm very proud to say that my team were 81. There were some teams at 100%, and the overall Asia Sales Ops team, I think, was at 85. We really put a lot of effort into driving this engagement. We have reinvigorated site councils locally, so we have people actively volunteering on top of their normal day jobs to take on additional activities, both in and out of the workplace. We're honouring that engagement to people as well with in-house wellness activities. And then we have also a number of other activities, volunteering with organisations such as the Cancer Council. We have a beautiful partnership with the Royal Far West. And then we have an amazing crew of chief fun officers who run our site, our social club, and they are regularly scheduling activities both for the employees and for people, to take friends and family along as well if you want. So I read in a survey that, workplaces with a positive culture are actually 116% more productive than average. And company culture is also one of the reasons that many people, I think around 65% I read, stay in their job. So as well as having fun at work, it's also really, really important that people actually come to work and they can be themselves. We're working to make life better, to create an inclusive workplace for employees. Our board of directors includes around 45% women and 55% total minorities. And it's our mission really to increase this diversity, and it extends beyond just our employees to our partners and the suppliers and communities that we work with. Diversity really is a cornerstone for innovation. And as I mentioned earlier, all of our innovation comes from our internal teams. And our latest stats also showed that for our open positions, they were filled by 40% by internal candidates. I've actually covered as well that people who've joined the organisation recently, they've been there before. People have left, they are applying for jobs to get back in, and some of them are saying they're never leaving. So the ANZ team culture, I really believe, is in a great place. We're upholding our commitment to maintaining and building our culture in the face of all the current challenges that we have, both in and out of the workplace. And we're really inspiring ourselves to be our best and create the benchmarks to ensure that we're running a truly optimized organisation. Are we there yet? No, we're not, but I think we're certainly heading in the right direction. So what's my point to all of this? Sounds like fun, yeah, but does it really matter? Does it make a difference? So I believe the answer conclusively is yes. The numbers ultimately are important. Unless we maintain our numbers, we can't keep the lights on. As Aaron knows, that can sometimes be a challenge. However, you need to think beyond just the sales teams. It's about driving the engagement in the whole of the organisations. And I think, as you can see here, so these are the market share results for the last calendar quarter of 2019. HP are leading in almost every segment here, which I think is pretty impressive. I've been assured that the design jet, so GSB is so we've got personal systems, PCs on the top, print, our home office print, and our managed print services. And then GSB is the graphic printing business, so the larger printers, the funky printers that print on fabric, and up to the printers that take up a whole room. And I've been assured that the design jet blip there is just a quarterly blip, with one deal being won by a competitor. So yeah, we're leading the market, and our recent annual earning results exceeded market expectations in what is typically our toughest quarter. So for me, to be able to rock up every day, to have fun, and then to see the results and the numbers is really, I think it's testament that it's working. So in conclusion, I think that empowered people, passionate people, and motivated people will lead your business to a success. And I hope that you have a lot of fun along the way. Thank you.
Any questions for Kirsty?
No.
I think my takeaway from the presentation is the word that comes to mind is empathy. All of those activities that Kirsty had shared around, volunteering, around family days and so on, is really helping to, cultivate that empathy element for us. And I think that's so important when we connect with customers, connect with, our fellow coworkers and so on, that will, work together with us to serve the customer. I think it's so important having that element of empathy. It really helps and it makes a difference. And when we connect with people at that level, magic happens. So thank you so much, Kirsty, for that. And next up.